West of the Nile, fertile land gives way to desert hills. For 1,200 years, Egyptian pharaohs were frequently buried in pyramids, until the New Kingdom period around 1500 BCE, when the pharaohs of the 18th dynasty started to be buried in what's now known as the Valley of the Kings. We hired an expert guide who we'd met through our Nile cruise. His fee, including a private car and driver, was around $70 US. We'd seen so many warnings about the insane tourist vendor gauntlet at Valley of the Kings, but on our guide's advice, we started out at 5:30 a.m. and we breezed through the vendors who were only starting to open up. And instead of long entry lines, we were ahead of the only group with us. There are 70 catalog tombs in the valley, dug into hillsides over a period of 500 years. Only 18 can currently be visited by tourists, and not all are open at the same time. A standard ticket will get you into 3 tombs.
You must choose. But choose wisely.
The deepest, the tomb of Seti I, is an extra ticket. We opted to pay the 40-cent round-trip golf cart fee for the half-kilometer road to the tombs. Our first tomb was of Ramses IV and is a typical example. A linear tomb, it's been open to visitors for over 2,000 years, many of whom left graffiti. The ceilings and walls of the corridor were covered in richly colored, detailed illustrations. Repetitive magical spells copied from religious texts meant to ensure a successful transition to the afterlife. The contrast with the blank walls of Menkare's pyramid at Giza was startling. The burial chamber holds the stone sarcophagus, and the walls have more spells and instructions for navigating the final stages through the underworld. On the ceiling, the goddess Nut, keeper of the sky, protector of the dead, and mistress of rebirth, watches over the pharaoh's journey. A few hundred feet down the valley, several tombs are clustered together. The tomb of Ramses IX was our second to visit. Also open and visited since antiquity, it has a similar wall design to Ramses IV. The larger images of several gods are noticeably different, as are the celestial boats that carry Ramses through the underworld, accompanied by both servants and gods. The next to last chamber was never finished, and the sarcophagus has never been located. The striking art of the vaulted ceiling shows the sky goddess Nut guiding Ramses' celestial boats. The reign of Ramses IX is distinct in that papyri from his court have detailed the trial and punishment of grave robbers in this valley. Another nearby tomb was closed to the public, but it's the largest in the valley, built for dozens of the sons of Pharaoh Ramses the Great. A little farther down is the most famous tomb of all, the tomb of Tutankhamun. It was remarkable for the completeness and richness of its contents, but the tomb itself is small and everything inside is a replica, so we skipped it. Our third and final tomb was next to King Tut. The tomb of Ramesses V and VI is one of the most remarkable in the valley. Built for Ramses V, who died after just 4 years on the throne, it was quickly expanded for Ramses VI, who died 8 years later. Another linear tomb, the halls have many common elements to the others. The tomb was robbed within its first 50 years, as documented in another judicial papyrus from the reign of Ramses X. It has another beautifully intricate ceiling with a painting of the winged goddess of justice, Ma'at, whose feathers are used to weigh the hearts of the dead to judge the goodness of their lives. Unlike Ramses IX, the antechamber is finished, and the ramp down is guarded by Wadjet ring cobras. similar to Naga guardians we saw in Hindu and Buddhist temples. Inside the burial chamber, the vaulted ceiling has a mirrored day and night scene, held together by a mirrored goddess Nut, her head and hands on one end, legs and feet on the other, guiding the cycle of rebirth. We headed out of the Valley of the Kings around 7:30 a.m., about an hour after we got there, and the crowds were starting to arrive, their tour buses parked and waiting. The nearby Valley of the Queens contains nearly 100 tombs, though for various reasons, including damage by tourists, very few are open to the public. The one tomb we really wanted to see, the tomb of Queen Nefertari, beloved of Ramses II, whose temple we'd seen at Abu Simbel, is supposed to have gorgeously vibrant colors. But it was sadly closed for maintenance. We did visit the tomb of a son, not a queen, an heir of Ramses III who died before he took the throne. His tomb is much smaller than a pharaoh's, with colorful but much simpler wall inscriptions. The young prince with his sidelock of hair is shown in the company of gods and his father, and a pair of wadjet guard the burial chamber. But not nearly as much care was taken for his journey to the afterlife. In addition to the prince's sarcophagus, there's a mummified fetus, presumably a royal sibling. Across a mountain ridge from the Valley of the Kings lies a monument to a queen who was the daughter of a pharaoh, the wife of a pharaoh, the regent of a pharaoh, and the second confirmed female pharaoh in Egyptian history. Hatshepsut, as a pharaoh, was buried in the Valley of the Kings, but her iconic Mortuary Temple sets her apart. Stone wadjets guard the entrance to the upper tiers, and the left and right groups of statues of Hatshepsut represent her rule over both Upper and Lower Egypt. As a woman in her traditionally male position of pharaoh, she usually represented herself as a man. But these statues, in the pose of the god Osiris, have clearly feminine faces. Turning left, the south side has hypostyle halls, a shrine to the mother goddess Hathor, represented as both a divine cow and a woman with a bovine head. In cow form, she nurses a young Thutmose III, Hatshepsut possibly asserting seniority to her co-ruler. On the north side, the shrine of Anubis shows scenes with the jackal god and other gods. But all the images of Hatshepsut are scratched away. About 20 years after she died, Thutmose III, for unknown reasons, started erasing all records of Hatshepsut's reign as pharaoh. Fortunately, he died before he could finish, and his successors repaired some of the damage. Between Hatshepsut's temple and the Valley of the Queens, the Valley of the Artisans was an amazing surprise. Our guide had suggested it with additional cost, and it was absolutely worth it. For 500 years, a community of skilled and unskilled workers and their families lived here, tasked with building the tombs in the valleys of the kings and queens. Many of the residents were educated and literate, so the site is a treasure trove of information about daily life of the ancient Egyptian middle class. Of course, workers died here as well, and 3 tombs were open for us to see. The first was of a foreman during the reigns of Ramses III and Ramses IV, a hereditary position. Like many of the skilled roles, he was trained by his father. His tomb is much smaller than the pharaoh's, but the paintings seem to be more vibrant. Our guide said that the artisans saved the best inks and paints for themselves. Many amazing scenes are depicted on the walls. like the foreman and his wife, a priestess of Amun, meeting with other priests, the couple and their 4 children receiving 2 guests, and the couple listening to a blind harpist play. The god Anubis prepares the foreman's mummy for burial, and 3 gods escort the couple into the afterlife. The second tomb was actually a complex of 3 tombs of a father and his 2 sons. These colors were very different, but no less vibrant. Like this scene of the couple praying by the Nile, and Anubis preparing the man's mummy for afterlife. Here, his Ba, the personality aspect of his soul, is escorted from front and back by Bennu, the god of rebirth. The third tomb was another high-ranked official, probably a scribe. And likely the best preserved of all the tombs in the valley. It has the Anubis preparation scene again, but also a depiction of what paradise would look like, which includes, apparently, working together in the fields for eternity. This pic with a guard and other visitors, who were taking tons of detailed photos, gives a sense of how big the chambers were. This brings us to the end of our Egypt videos, but our adventures continue in Europe when we return to Greece, so stay tuned.